Sheriff Rob Maciol standing by right now. This teacher, aide and teacher arrested for excessive discipline, something you normally don't see happen in a school district, but it has happened here. Sheriff Rob Maciol, good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you guys today?
Good. I know you're always busy and probably out on the farm at this time.
I am just finishing up this morning.
All right. I wanted to put a good buffer in between because I want this topic to be solely about the issue at hand, and that is the teacher situation in Rome. So tell me, what actually occurred? What's alleged that the teacher and the teacher's assistant did to this student or students?
Well, the allegations basically are saying that during the course of running the classroom, the teacher and the teacher's assistant, there were 3 separate incidents that were reported to us, and the excessive discipline involved. There was some pushing, not hand to person contact, but some pushing with a classroom door, and then in addition to that, there was the use of a water-filled spray bottle for discipline. Certainly concerning for us. The way this came down, there was we all the time, we're constantly saying to people, no matter what topic we're talking about, we're asking people if you see something, please say something.
Yeah.
And in this case, someone saw what they felt was inappropriate or excessive discipline. They made a report to their superiors, and the school district did exactly following their protocol. They made all the proper notifications, and one of which was notifying law enforcement. This particular school, even though it's part of the Rome City School District, it is out in the outer district of Rome. Therefore, it's in the sheriff's office jurisdiction.
Got it.
And that's how we received the complaint. And it was assigned to one of our investigators who specializes in anything to do with juvenile or juvenile situations, child situations outside of the Child Advocacy Center. The things that involve young kids outside of the CAC's area of expertise. From there, multiple interviews were done, depositions were taken. A whole bunch of work was done in this case, and because we were dealing with victims who were, we're calling them victims in this complaint, the kids, because of their age being under 10. Typically, when we take a deposition, it's whether it's a teenager or an adult. When you're dealing with someone this young, you have to put a few extra steps in there to get to ensure that
Sure. Yep.
Kids understand the difference between telling the truth and not telling the truth, and that's why this case was done a tad bit differently. All the information was wrapped up in a package. It was shipped off for the court and the DA's office to review, and in turn, Rome City Court issued what's called a criminal summons. It's an order for the person to appear in court.
Tell me, can you explain? You said there was a door pushing. Can you explain what that was?
Well, obviously, when you need to move someone along and they're not moving along, and from your verbal commands, then obviously they were utilizing the hinged door to move kids along. I'm trying not to get into too many specifics here. Obviously, all this is going to come out.
I understood. So they were basically...
and the thing I think that kind of was a little concerning for the folks working this investigation is when, the allegations, and again, these are all allegations, but obviously it's all based on sworn depositions and some other evidence and some work on the case, but when it's alleged that spray bottles were filled with water were utilized to discipline children, I mean, that's certainly something we don't hear every day.
That's something you do to a dog, right?
Did they also use a soda can with pennies in it and throw it at them? Because that's another thing you do with your animal. It is odd, though, when you think about it. You'd use a spray thing to stop your cat from getting on the table or something.
I mean, that may be. I've never done that either, but that could be. I mean, we're not talking about training a cat here. We're talking about in a classroom setting with little kids.
And Sheriff, your cat would never dare getting on the table with you in that room.
We don't have any cats in the house.
Well, there you go.
Our cats live out in the barn.
That's a better place for them. Manansky has a...
Yes, so the endangering the welfare of a child and harassment.
Yeah.
I was surprised to read, based on what you said about the spray bottle, that could involve a criminal charge. Can you talk more about, is it because of the fact that it's a school or because it's a person in authority?
I mean, without having the penal law section right in front of me, I mean, endangering the welfare of a child could be a wide range of things when there's an act or a course of conduct that's not conducive or not good for the moral or physical or mental welfare of a child. You know what I mean? It's a broad.
Okay.
I just don't know as though that form of discipline is an acceptable, and I certainly don't think it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, it's just something and you got to put yourself in the shoes of the parents too. You know,
no doubt. I guess I'm surprised that it would go as far as an arrest. But you seem to believe absolutely that this has crossed a line. And I guess it is interesting when we look at things. Like I know of stories. Think about just some of the stories that kids have happened to kids, and I think of a few that have happened to my own. I've gone to school, livid about it, and you wonder if it was just a guy at Walmart that did that to your kid, the guy would be arrested. But somehow, because it's a teacher and they're in a position of authority, that we don't take that next step, which you have here, which I find very interesting.
In most cases, I mean, under Article 35 of the New York State Penal Law, certain people have the ability to do certain things in order to keep control. But you cross, there's that line. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, whether we're talking about an operator of public transportation, a pilot of an airplane, a teacher in a classroom. Certainly, when things happen, you are authorized to do certain things. But again, and I get it. Obviously these are allegations at this point. But again, if like the question for Jeff, if that was your child and your child, like the parents we've been working with, were very upset that your child was disciplined by the teacher by the use of a water-filled spray bottle. I mean, that's just not. You know what I mean? That's not.
How would they use? How would? And I know you probably can't, but how would she use the spray bottle? It would be like the kids talking, and I'm okay. I told you to stop talking.
I mean, at this point, I guess I'd leave that up to people. I think just saying that the allegations involve the use of a water-filled spray bottle. Obviously, you can figure out what they're doing with it.
Right.
But just, I mean, certainly we don't like to. I mean, obviously these are hot button issues, and when they go public, we don't like all the fallout that comes with them. But again, it is what it is, and we have an obligation to report to the people of everything that we do. When we make arrests, I mean, you guys know we put out press releases every single day of everything we do, because again, at the end of the day, it's the folks in the community that are we serve the public, and we're funded by the public, so it's our obligation to keep the public informed as best we can as to what we're doing.
And this, and what I find interesting too is this teacher is 30 years old, so it's something I would have expected when I was in school, or a teacher that's in her 60s, and I've been doing this since the 70s. This is just how I do it. But this is a young teacher, and they're always the style of teaching is completely different. Young teachers versus older teachers, I find. But very interesting. We're going to talk more about this. Sheriff Rob Maciol, get back to doing what you have to do. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks.